Hello, this is Adam with Wheel Guns for Wheelmen. But today we are actually not going to be talking about guns at all. Today we are making a cooking video with my butternut squash stuffing recipe. I'm going to be posting all the ingredients and instructions in the description section of the video, along with all the utensils and other things you will need to make this stuffing. And I have prepared some of the ingredients already so that I can keep the video as brief as possible. Now first, you need the butternut squash. And if you've never cooked a butternut squash, you might want to look up a video on how to chop it up and peel it. But I use a potato peeler, specifically this one. I do not recommend this type. There are better types, but I'm not a chef. That's what I have. And you want to peel this first layer, which is the outer skin, the brownish grayish portion. But then, with my peeler at least, I have to peel off this second layer, which has the light green lines, leaving this bottom layer, which looks kind of like really yellow cheddar cheese chunks. Now, you want something this size, preferably, and this is pretty much the biggest you want it. This is, in error. I don't want it this big, but I'm too lazy to chop it up more. Now you're also going to need half a red pepper, put into chunks about this size. Then you push all that out of the way once you get it chopped up. You need a little bread roll or baguette, and you dry it out. I just take it out and leave it on the counter all day, and then it should be like a crouton almost, where you can break it and it becomes crumbs. So once you have all those ingredients broken up, and I make the bread into about chunks that big. Once you do all that, you also need to grill up some ground turkey or pork sausage or whatever other meat you want to use. I figure because it's near November and Thanksgiving, I'm going to use ground turkey. Also good for Halloween because butternut squash looks like pumpkin and also smells like pumpkin, and on the inside is basically a pumpkin full of the stringiness and seeds that you would expect. Now we're going to be grilling the vegetables for about 5 minutes on medium heat with a little bit of olive oil in the pan. I normally do that after I grill the turkey, and so that's what we're going to do right now. Let's just let the pan heat up for a second. In the meantime, you need one 14-ounce can of chicken broth. I prefer the kind with full sodium, so I don't have to add salt to this. You're gonna need a mixing bowl. I like this metal one about this size. Take 2 eggs, you break them, put them in the mixing bowl, dump in the chicken broth, and then we'll get to the seasoning. Now the first seasoning we have is a garlic seasoning. There are lots of different types of garlic and herb seasoning medleys out there. I don't even remember which brand this is, but it is mainly garlic with some other herbs. Pick whichever brand you like. Then it's 2 tablespoons of that seasoning, and you just dump it in. I'll dump in the broth last. I'm gonna use a whisk to stir it all up. You're gonna want about half a teaspoon of nutmeg. That's my secret ingredient. And then I have pre-ground some black pepper, again to keep the video as brief as possible. We have a half a teaspoon measurement, that's all you need. I will note that I put some black pepper and some of the garlic seasoning on the turkey when I grilled it. Now we need to grill the vegetables. Let those get a little softer. It's probably good to add a little bit more olive oil. And just a dash of the black pepper. Now you're going to want to have your oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Already preheated my oven before I started the video. Now we're just going to beat the egg, so to speak. Really get everything stirred up together. Nice garlicky, peppery mixture. So yes, I do things other than shoot guns and talk about guns. I am a lawyer who also films videos about cooking stuffing at 8:55 p.m. at night on a Sunday. I'm a very fun person, as you can tell. Life of the party. Don't forget to stir the vegetables. We have about 4 minutes left before we want to take them off the skillet. Combine the vegetables with the ground turkey and the baguette pieces in a oven-safe dish. We'll then dump this mixture of egg and broth and seasonings all over the top of it. And then we will put it in the oven for 55 minutes, and voila, you will have butternut squash stuffing with a meat of your choice. While that browns, going to discuss what I do with the bottom part of the butternut squash. So I take the butternut squash, I chop it so that the bulbous bottom half is separate from the top half. I then cut the bottom half in half and scoop out all the pumpkin gunk that you would see. Just like when you're carving a pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern. Throw all that away. Then you get these halves. I'm actually probably going to cut them into fourths to make them cook a little bit faster. And then you want some honey cinnamon butter or some other sort of honey butter. You smear it all over and then you bake these bad boys for like an hour and 15 minutes. I just do it alongside the stuffing. And you want a little bit longer because it's, they're thicker. And these are dessert basically, and they're very delicious, especially when you put cinnamon and honey butter on them. I forgot to mention, we will be adding some grated Parmesan on top of the stuffing before we throw it in the oven. And just 2 sprinkles of salt for good luck. You want it to be stirred up pretty good right before you put it on too, so I keep stirring it every so often and then once more right before I put it on. I also grease my pan with some olive oil, my baking dish I should say, before I put everything in it. Don't forget to get the sides of the dish. I just take my hands and kind of squish it together. The vegetables are kind of hot, so be careful, especially if you're heat sensitive. But the bread and the meat product by this time has cooled off. Don't forget your cheese. Then stir up your mixture to make sure it's well mixed. Evenly distribute it. Now just throw it in the oven for 55 minutes and enjoy. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. If I get enough likes or comments, I might make more cooking videos in the future with other recipes. Thank you.